Do you find that to be common out there? Because I would say that's probably not very
I would
common.
say it's not very common.
Yeah.
I think, and my impression is, I think that there are some obvious places where we want to go use AI, and people jump into the obvious. So, for instance, capturing tribal knowledge is an obvious scenario. If you look at engineering companies and I'm sure in other domains as well, where if I'm going to go work on a project, and it's a project that I need to go find who did something similar beforehand. Who knows about this? Who knows about that? So when a company, and when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about this from the perspective of companies that maybe have 50 to 100 employees, not a huge conglomerate. But even in a company that might have 30 employees, if that tribal knowledge can be captured, then I can just ask a quick question. Who did a project that was in the aerospace industry, and it was radar, this, that, and the other, and then it might send me some information so that I might save days of time trying to go find out who the experts are internally and externally on a specific topic. And so that's an obvious, tribal knowledge is just this obvious thing that a lot of people are trying to solve. So I think people might jump into that, and maybe there's another project that's an initial project that starts to deliver some results before investing in something that's rather large.
Very interesting. Yeah, I think that's one of the next potentially big parts of AI, where we're using OpenAI. You mentioned the LLMs you use, but eventually, these companies are going to get around to doing their own fit-for-purpose foundational models.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're already doing it. Many companies are actively investing in that space today.
I'm not convinced of that actually. I was talking to a friend earlier about how that was one of my biggest disappointments at CES, walking around and figuring out how many companies didn't really have a foundational model, not from the ground up, right? I mean, some of them were really just fine tuning. But as far as like companies that are really putting in the work for their ground up effort, I haven't really seen a whole lot of that.
And when I stand corrected, I know of some companies that are doing it, and you are probably spot on that it is a small percentage, and that might not be where a company should start.